Woman spots an exact replica of herself in a movie trailer. The idea that somewhere out there is an identical version of ourselves is creepy to say the least. But having your very own double is some people's biggest dream. For Anaïs Bourdier, doppelgangers were simply figures from science fiction until she came face to face with her own. What began as a chance encounter ended up changing Anaïs and her mysterious lookalike's life forever. Fate works in mysterious ways, but no one expected Anaïs's story to start the way it did, with her friend Kelsang Dongsar watching random YouTube videos late into the night. In December of 2012, Kelsang started a new video and couldn't believe his eyes. "I kept clicking onto the next link and then for some strange reason I started watching this video," he described to People. What he saw made him do a double take. One of his closest friends, Anaïs, but seeing her there didn't make sense. The video, titled High School Virgin, featured a girl who looked just like Anaïs. "I thought, that looks a bit like Anaïs," Kelsang said. As soon as the actress started to speak though, Kelsang knew it couldn't possibly be her. "It's not possible because this girl is American and Anaïs is French," Kelsang told himself. But the more he watched, the more striking the similarities between Anaïs and the American actress became. He knew he couldn't keep his discovery to himself. He took a screenshot of the girl in the video and posted it to Anaïs's Facebook page. "When were you going to tell me that you were an actress?" he joked. The weird similarities between Anaïs and the actress left their Facebook friends dumbstruck, Anaïs included. "Sometimes you meet people and say, okay, we have the same eyes or the same nose, but everything else is different," Anaïs told People. Here, everything was similar, and the more she looked at the actress, the more she wanted to learn about her. Luckily, Kelsang and Anaïs eventually tracked down the actress's name, Samantha Fuderman. "I couldn't believe I found her again," said Kelsang. He and Anaïs were a mere Google search away from finally getting some answers. "Something real is going to happen here," Kelsang predicted, and he was right. When Anaïs researched Samantha, the strange similarities between her and the actress started to seem less like a coincidence and more like fate. Samantha, an LA-based actress, wasn't born in the United States. Just 25 years earlier, she was born on November 19, 1987 in South Korea. Not long after her birth, she was adopted by the Fudermans and taken to her home in New Jersey. So much of Samantha's story left Anaïs reeling, mainly because she saw so much of her own story. Anaïs was also born on November 19, 1987 in South Korea. The only difference? Shortly after her birth, she was adopted by a French couple and moved to Paris. "This couldn't just be a bizarre coincidence, right? It was almost like we were in a movie and being set up," Kelsang said. "It was so strange." It was even more bizarre for Samantha, who soon after received a series of odd messages from a bunch of French strangers. Anaïs had messaged Samantha on Facebook but never received a response, so she and her friends found Samantha on Twitter and introduced themselves that way. When Sam read the message from Anaïs, she knew exactly what to do. Sam sent her documents with her birthday and birthplace to Anaïs straight up. "It was insane," Kelsang described. "All three of them had the same thought. I mean, it was quite possible this could be Anaïs's long-lost twin," Kelsang hoped. What were the odds that Anaïs and Sam, separated by thousands of miles, were actually identical twins? It's something most of us wonder about in passing, but for Anaïs and Sam, the possibility was too great to ignore. They knew they had to meet. Thanks to social media, the girls were able to meet via Skype. When they did, their physical similarities were more striking than ever, from their identical smiles to the freckles on their noses. Still, freckles don't determine whether or not people are related, DNA does. For Kelsang, waiting to find out if Anaïs and Sam were related was the hardest part. "You build up hope and there's the possibility of disappointment," he admitted. Anaïs and Sam felt the same way, but the day they finally met in person put any fears to rest. The two met in London on May 14, 2013, and it was obvious the instant they were face to face that their similarities couldn't possibly be just a coincidence. Still, a DNA test proved it once and for all. Anaïs and Sam really were long-lost identical twins. Since Anaïs grew up as an only child, finding Sam was like filling in a hole she hadn't known was empty. "I cannot imagine what my life would be like without Sam," she said, and Sam had similar sentiments. "I can't imagine my life without Anaïs," she said. Their story is so rare that they actually documented their journey on film, in the film Twinsters and in their book Separated at Birth, a true love story of twin sisters reunited. Though they still live in different countries, the two have never felt more connected. Even Kelsang, without whom Anais and Sam probably never would have met, has gotten some new friends out of the experience. "It's just like being with Anais, only Sam speaks with an American accent," he said. "It's such a happy story."